Coming up on Haunted New York, join host Emily Francis as she searches high and low for ghosts. From a go-go bar, to the House of Terror, to the Dakota Apartments. Emily is relentless in seeking the truth about the spirits around us. She'll even take part in a real-life seance that you won't want to miss. Right now on Haunted New York.
Welcome. I'm your host, Emily Francis. In the next hour, we're going to reveal some very strange and unexplained events in rather ordinary places. They're all centered around ghosts. Some people call them spirits, others call them lost souls. I simply call them freaky. Contrary to popular belief that ghosts hang out in cemeteries, it seems ghosts can be found everywhere, from private homes and theaters to hotels and battlefields, and some in even weirder places than you may think. But more on that later. Before we get started, I need to teach you a few important ghost hunting terms. Investigators search for ghosts. You could call them ghost hunters. Then there are psychic mediums who communicate directly with ghosts and spirits. And let's not forget about orbs, which are perfectly round circles that appear on a photograph. Apparitions are human-like shadows that appear on camera. And apportations are when objects get moved without any explanation at all. So, are you confused yet? Well, I certainly am, so let's get started. Some people believe that ghosts only hang out in cemeteries or even haunted houses, but residents in this quiet, quaint community of South Plainfield, New Jersey, have been shocked to learn that ghosts may, in fact, exist in their midst. In fact, reports have been made of electronic mishaps and some very, very strange occurrences at a local go-go bar. You heard me correctly, a go-go bar. So that's why we decided we should call in the expert, Jane Doherty, who's a psychic investigator. We need you to help probe this stuff and shed some light on what really may be going on.
I sure will.
So let's go inside and check it out.
Let's do it.
Okay. The mystery of the go-go bar ghost has attracted national headlines, but I wanted to see the evidence firsthand. Now, how did this all come about? When did you first notice something was up?
Last year, Emily, on our security system, which we had installed at that time, seems to have captured some kind of a, I don't know, an apparition or a, whatever you want to call it, which is difficult for me to explain.
So, John took us to his office to look at the video for ourselves. So what happened?
Well, Emily, this is our surveillance system, and it's state-of-the-art, but when we installed it, we never knew that it would pick up something like this. This is the parking lot in the back of the building. If you look here, you'll see this image begin to appear.
What? Weird.
It's actually something that
Changes form.
changes form in different aspects.
What would it mean, though, if you were standing in the parking lot? You wouldn't see that light. You would just feel something, right?
Yes, and that is typical of spirit behavior when you do catch them on camera or if you get them on audio tape. You will not hear the sound, you will not see them. Then when you go and play a tape or look at a picture, that's when you'll see it.
This is right in the alley, and it happened at an earlier time. Now watch. Looks like somebody wearing a hat, and then turning it into a prehistoric kind of a man, or a Neanderthal man. It just hovers around my car, and it looks like just a ball of light, perhaps with wings on it. I go out the kitchen door, that's me. Now I think it saw me, and it took off. You see?
Weird. Things got even stranger when Jane sensed something.
Right in this area is where I sense a spirit. And when I close my eyes and get an image, it's definitely a female. And I can see movement, and I can get the sense. So to me, she's a dancer. And I feel that a dancer on her way here died. And it's very noted we're only about 2 towns away from Downbrook, where Al Capone and various other
There
gangsters.
could have been gangster activity. Now I was more intrigued than ever. So was it a publicity gimmick, or were there actual ghosts at the bar? Later in the program, Jane reluctantly agrees to conduct a seance to reveal the truth at the go-go bar. We're here at the Merchants House Museum in Lower Manhattan. It may seem like another great New York City museum, but there's a lot more than meets the eye. It seems its previous owner still dwells among us. A piano playing in the middle of the night, a mysterious light by a bedroom fireplace, Some believe it's the ghost of Gertrude Treadwell. It seems her father forbade Gertrude to marry her one true love because he was Catholic. In turn, she never married and died a lonely woman in 1933. Some say Gertrude still resides in her former home.
Welcome to the Merchant's House.
Nice to meet you. So I am really excited to meet Gertrude. You can introduce me?
You bet. Let's get right to it.
All right, sounds great. So do we think Gertrude's sleeping or awake right now?
Well, we've never actually caught her in bed, so odds are she's awake.
This looks like it's Gertrude's bed.
That's exactly what it is. This is the exact bed that Gertrude Treadwell was born in 1840, and the same bed she died in 93 years later in 1933.
That is amazing. So do we think that she's actually in here right now?
Well, she could be.
She could be.
Yes.
How do we find out for sure? Do we try to wake her up?
You could try that, but I'm not so sure you should.
What are some of the accounts that have been told to you? What have they seen or heard?
One day I was taking a group of 10-year-old students through, and we got to the entrance to the room, and one of the little students grabbed me by the back of the coat and said, "I'm scared." I said, "What are you afraid of?" He said, pointed into the room. He said, "That man." There was no one else in the house at that time. I said, "Well, what man?" And he pointed over here and said, "That man there, the one that's in the picture downstairs."
Wow.
And there's only one picture of a man in the house, and that's Seabury Treadwell, Gertrude's father, who died in this bed in 1865.
Whose room is this right here? It's
This
beautiful.
is Eliza Treadwell's room. That would be Gertrude's mother. And the fireplace in this room is a rather strange object in that whenever you photograph it, something odd happens to the film. We have a couple photographs of a wedding party, for one example, where a bridesmaid is standing there, and next to her is an inexplicable shape, sort of white light. And when I was first shown it, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought, well,
Yeah, like a doctorate,
I could do
Photoshop,
this
the whole
myself,
thing.
absolutely.
Right.
But then there's also another photograph taken by another photographer years before, which shows a similar kind of image on it. So we don't know what's there or who's there, but we do have an image on film that's consistent.
So what's your explanation for why her spirit may exist? Do you think it's fond childhood memories and she wants to stay here, or is it unfinished business that she's trying to accomplish, do you think?
Well, all of her memories are in this house. And I think if there's anything odd in the house in the way of a presence, it's us and not them. This is their house. They lived here all their lives. All of their things are here. All of their furniture, exactly where they put it. Even their hairbrushes with their hair in it.
Wow.
It's all here. If there was ever a place where a ghost would feel comfortable, this is it.
Coming up, Emily takes us on a tour of some amazing haunted landmarks. And later, you don't want to miss the seance at a go-go bar. Stay right where you are.
I'm here in front of the St. Mark's in the Bowery Church with noted psychic Janet Russell. And Janet, you're going to give me a whirlwind haunted tour of New York landmarks,
Sounds
correct?
wonderful, yes. I'm going to do my best.
So let's get to it. This was actually built by Governor Stuyvesant way back when. Do you get any kind of sense of anything happening here?
First thing I need to say is when I walk here, because I'll usually pick up the energy, I do feel there were many children here, and I'm getting the hair on my arms is standing up, so that's kind of telling me that I'm on the right path. I feel he was a very giving person, and I do feel that his spirit does come.
But some negative energy was obvious at our next stop. It's been said that the former residence of Mark Twain, also known as the House of Death, is swirling with spirits. In fact, Janet feels some very hostile spirits were sending us a warning as a piercing alarm went off when we arrived. An alarm that neighbors say hasn't gone off in years.
Oh my God, the chills are... Did you get that sense before you heard this alarm?
You know what, I just had a very strange feeling when I was getting out of the cab. It was just like, they do not want us here. They do not want us to talk about it. There's just, the energies here are not positive. I have to tell you that right now.
Weird!
Look. Oh. I'm just going to walk down here, okay? Is that all right?
Alone? I think I'm scared to go with you at this
No,
point.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of them at all. No, they're not going to bother me. Whoa, my goodness. Whoa, 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 whoa. They are certainly here.
Really?
Whew.
What makes you feel that?
Every ounce of my body is shaking. It's not shaking, but the skin on my, it's like my skin is crawling. I wouldn't be even surprised if we find a feather somewhere in this area, because I definitely feel it. I don't know if there was murders here, but I definitely feel there was people that went over before they were supposed to go over. Okay. I also feel there was a family situation here. I could hear a young person crying, so I don't know if it was an infant or what, but there's definitely the energy here was not conducive. Whoa, I am not comfortable at all. I have to tell you that.
All right, Janet. I mean, obviously you have a bad feeling.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to.
Would you rather go talk somewhere more quietly?
Yes, please,
All right,
please.
let's
I
do
would
that.
really appreciate that, because, I mean, it's like, it's so creepy.
Okay, could I just say something right now?
Yeah.
This is freaky.
Ah! There you go. There's the feather.
She just said, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a feather here. What?
That's a
How would a
spiritual
feather get here?
I don't know, but I just felt it, and I didn't.
Oh my God,
I
that is
know.
just so strange.
Yeah, that's what happens. Spirit.
Why feathers?
It's communication. It's just their way of communicating. That, and I always find dimes. Sometimes butterflies or little bluebirds or
Oh my God! Now I have hair standing up on my arms.
Too will come.
The fact of the matter is that there have been 22 deaths in that house.
Yes.
There's one actually a very high-profile murder that took place here. A 6-year-old girl was murdered. Joel Steinberg. It was all over the news.
Yes, I definitely felt children. They were the children were very abused there. Okay, but I do pick up. I want to say someone was definitely strangled there, if not asphyxiated, because I could feel it was like somebody put a fishing wire around my throat and just tightened it.
I have a feeling that based on what we just experienced, and we're even experiencing now with more noise, that we should get out of here as quickly as possible and go to our next location.
You're giving me chills, so that's confirmation.
Now we're at the legendary Chelsea Hotel, where some of the most creative and destructive literary and music talents have resided. We're talking about Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Arthur Miller. What's your sense here?
Well, here I feel like there were, you know, first thing I tell you when I got out of the cab, I felt like I heard gunshots. So I don't know if someone had passed over here through a murder, but I definitely feel there was something to do with that. Also, I also feel like someone committed suicide here. I will say probably one of them was an accidental death.
Really?
You know, and I feel it had to do with either drugs or alcohol. But it was like once they were over, they really didn't want to go, but by then it was too late.
The Chelsea Hotel is where former Sex Pistol Sid Vicious stabbed and killed his girlfriend back in 1978. Vicious later died of a drug overdose the following year. And yet another celebrity spirit brought us to another haunted dwelling. Here we are at the famous Dakota Apartments. It's a beautiful Gothic building in Manhattan's Upper West Side. It is the place where Rosemary's Baby, you remember that famous horror flick? It actually took place here. But more importantly, many of you probably know that this is the site where former Beatle John Lennon was shot and killed. I mean, this literally
You can feel the energy.
is the site where it happened. You can.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, when we first got here, I have chills even talking about it. I could smell flowers here, so I have to say there were many, many flowers. I also want to tell you what I pick up as well, is that the Spirit of John is definitely here. As we speak, he's here.
It seems a number of corpses have been taken out of the rear of the Dakota.
Energy is here a lot more. There I just felt John, but here I feel like, I'm going to say probably anywhere between 6 and 8 people right now as we're walking. Okay?
How would you explain that? Why?
It's kind of like they all want to be in the movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's kind of like, well, they're talking about us. Let's be there.
Right.
And I need to tell you, don't be surprised if something shows up on the camera. Much sadness here. It's very heavy right here, you know, and it's like, I can't explain it, but it's like I just want to cry. When spirit comes through, I get extremely emotional. And I just feel happiness, but I feel a lot of sadness as well.
Interesting.
Sorry, I don't mean to cry, but
No.
it's something that I can't control sometimes.
But what happened next is inexplicable. Our crew picked up the following strange activity. Watch what happened. The sound? Is it something you've never heard before?
No, it sounds like as if the power is going to go out completely, but it's just stronger than ever. 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me speaking?
Yeah. What does it normally sound like? You know,
Well, that's not normal at all.
Like you normally just hear. You don't hear any of that.
No, you wouldn't hear that at all, or else you would hear. Something a lower frequency than that, and then the power would go out. The radio mics are clear. This is getting some kind of a ground signal.
Oh, it's the spirits, definitely.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they're there.
Was it a power failure or spirits at the gate? I don't think we'll ever really know. We're at one of New York City's finest and most romantic restaurants. It's called One If by Land, Two If by Sea. Now, if you come here, you're guaranteed to get great food, but if you're lucky, you'll get visited by the ghost of Theodosia Burr. Legend has it that the daughter of our former vice president, Aaron Burr, vanished off the coast of North Carolina en route to visit her father. Now, employees here think that her spirit dwells in their midst. So I asked psychic medium Jane Doherty to probe these spooky sightings.
I've seen a young lady upstairs with, like I said, with a headscarf on, like she was a servant, a black, very simple dress. And she just stands right up there, and then she walks across the room and disappears.
Do you actually see it vanish as it's happening, like walking away and then vanishing?
Well, she walks behind the pillar up there, and then never reappears.
A few moments later, Jane felt a spiritual presence.
Right in this area here, I would say this is probably the spirit, the path of the spirit. So there is definitely something here that would walk back and forth or come into this area.
Were you aware that right below your feet there is an actual headstone from a tomb?
No.
It's right by your feet.
Oh, okay, we got it right here. Here's the tombstone.
Elizabeth, 1871,
Now,
15 years old.
That also could very well be who you're seeing. What happens with tombstones is sometimes the spirit is attached to the tombstone. So I don't know if that tombstone belongs here in the area or not. So it could simply be someone who's attached. And because the tombstone is here, she will appear here.
Is the spirit Theodosia, Elizabeth, or even Aaron Burr himself? One thing's for sure, you won't be dining at the restaurant alone.
Next, Emily visits a church that gives new meaning to the phrase chilling to the bone. And later, watch the sparks fly as we take you to a real seance. Don't go away.
To some in this quiet community of Belleville, New Jersey, things aren't exactly as they always appear. There have been reports for years of paranormal activity at this church, so I decided to go inside and see what I find.
Hi, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Emily Francis.
Bill Mohead, I'm pastor of this church.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us and opening your doors to us. I know that you have a lot of interesting stories to share with us.
Yeah, through the years, we have many, many interesting stories. Actually, there was an organist practicing at night, and he was alone. And as he was practicing, all these pew doors closed on one side, closed on the other side. He picked up his music, and he ran like heck out to church.
Wow.
and he was afraid to come back alone.
But the other legendary tale about the church is the bones supposedly buried underneath the basement. This one I had to see for myself. Spider webs! Ooh, spider webs! I don't want to go in there and Gary right now. So what's the deal? This is
where a lot of bones were found, and in fact, I've been down here and I've found some bones myself.
Really?
The story is that many, many years ago, the minister in the 1700s was buried underneath there. So people have gone under here, and again, they have heard organ music from here, ran upstairs, and there was nobody upstairs.
I would run upstairs if I heard anything hanging out down here. I was definitely feeling a weird vibe, so I brought in ghost investigator Daryl Mitson to see what he could find. All right, so you're the expert. What are you doing right now?
Well, I heard that there's some ghost activity down here. So what I'm doing is I'm checking out the layout down here. This is some of the equipment that we use during a ghost investigation. We have here digital camcorders, some with infrared vision, so we're able to catch things in total darkness. 35mm cameras, as well as digital cameras, which are very good. We can see instant results, see if there's anything in the area. We have motion detectors, which we'll set up in a location to see if anything's moving around there that shouldn't be. Digital audio recorders, and what we do with that is we use special condenser microphones to get a very clear sound to see if we get any voices on tape. Thermal temperature scanners to check the temperature, see if we have any cold or hot spots in a location. And a little more esoteric are the dowsing rods, which some people say are able to locate spirit activity as well as water. And we put it all together to see what we can get.
So, make no bones about it. Some things are just better left unexplained. Our next stop is a local pub where the employees are experiencing some very weird encounters.
Too many things have happened for it to say, oh, it's just nothing, or it's a coincidence, or there's too many things. It's a feeling, it's a presence.
Several years ago, a wedding reception was held here. At the end of the evening, the bride was walking down the stairs when she accidentally fell to her death. Today, it seems she's playing some pranks on the bar staff.
I was downstairs. It was a very busy night, so I had never gone into the office. Hadn't talked on the phone at all. And around 11:15, 11:30, I looked, and extension 11 and extension 13 was lit up, which meant somebody was upstairs talking on the phone. And I was the only manager here and only person with keys, so how can that be possible? So I sent a waiter up to see what was going on, and he said that someone had hit the speakerphone. No one was up there to have done that. And that's happened twice. So happened to me once, and it happened with me and another manager here. And no one was upstairs.
I've had an employee said that he was pushed down the stairs, and that he was the only one in the room. He swore that he was pushed. Everybody said he fell, but he swore that somebody had, he's no longer with us, but he said someone had pushed him on the shoulder, and he had fallen with a whole tray of ashtrays.
So again, I called in ghost investigator Daryl Mitson to see if the spirit of the bride was causing all the havoc.
So can you show me what's been going on? We'll see if we pick anything up.
Okay, let's take a look over here.
Okay.
The staircase, really, where a lot of stuff is going on. You hear all sorts of noises around here.
How often does that happen?
I would say on a monthly basis.
Can you tell me what happened here at the staircase?
I believe it's a wedding party, and the bride, everybody was here, and she came tumbling down and died, and to be honest, I don't think she ever left the building. Will she be always with us here?
It's a good possibility. If all she is an imprint in time, she's going to be here forever. Even if this location is torn down and a new building erected, you'll still see the same ghost a lot of times.
It seems she's here to stay. So what would they say to her if she materialized in front of them?
I would tell her that it's probably okay to leave the building, that we're fine here now, and then I hope that she's in peace.
I would not want to meet this ghost. Usually because most of the time when she comes around, I'm by myself, and I don't think that would be very fun.
Coming up, the family in this house is taping more than your average home movies. And later, there's more going on at this bar than dancing. Stay tuned as we reveal the true story of the Go-Go Bar ghost.
crossroads of the world, the heart of Times Square, where millions gather every year to ring in the new year. Now, you'd think this area would be safe from the living dead, but we all could be wrong because there are rumors about the ghosts of Broadway. So I figured I'd go check them out for myself. Hello.
Welcome, Emily.
Francis. Nice to meet you.
I've been expecting you.
Oh, yeah? I've been looking forward to seeing what kind of ghosts lie beneath. It seems the theater world believes in the hereafter as well, or at the very least, they are cautious about the possibility of ghosts.
As we can see on the stage, there's the single solitary light bulb that crashes through the darkness of the theater. That is on every stage on Broadway, the ghost light. Many believe that the ghost light is needed because the theaters are haunted by the ghosts of the actors who appeared there in the past. They're very sad and angry that they can no longer perform in front of the public, and they come back to the stage to cause mischief and trouble and scare people. And some believe that by putting the ghost light out, it lets the spirits know that the stage is occupied and that they should stay away.
What's the documentation that these ghosts really existed, or is it just actors being melodramatic?
Yes, there's anecdotal tales of mysterious smells, of objects flying across the stage for no apparent reason, and they ascribe that to the ghosts who are there.
A few blocks away, the Belasco Theater is well known for its hauntings. So what kinds of spooky stories, if any, exist at this theater?
Well, Emily, this is the theater for such stories. It was built in 1907 by David Belasco. He was a titan of the theater at the turn of the century. He wrote, produced, directed over 70 plays. After his death in 1931, people would begin to see a portly figure dressed in black wandering around the theater, only for a split second. Most recently, there was the run of the play Frankie and Johnny in the Claire de Lune here, with Joe Pantoliano and Rosie Perez, and Joe claims to have seen the ghost of David Belasco. Stagehands have reported ceilings falling down, props suddenly crashing. This is the theater of all the Broadway theaters that can claim to really be haunted in spite of a ghost light, which they do put on with extra wattage in the bulb.
So just think, next time you decide to go see a Broadway show, you could be sitting next to the real Phantom of the Opera. This looks like another beautiful house in the suburbs outside of New York City, but apparently there are some very strange things going on within these walls. Let's check it out. Hi, I'm Emily Francis.
I'm Michael.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for letting me into your home.
Sure.
Even if it is haunted.
Yes.
It seems a lot of strange things have been happening in this home, as seen on this home video taken by Michael.
Oh. Oh.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
What is
it? It's mucus or something. Right there, right there.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
See?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there.
Another one.
By the light.
Yeah.
So you have to explain to me what's been going on here. I mean, I know that your whole family is living here and all, so obviously you may be coexisting with strange beings.
Well, when I first moved in, I realized that we weren't alone. I could sense something in the basement, specifically a man laying at the base of the stairs.
Did it look like you and me, or did it look like a ghost? I mean,
No.
what our image of what ghosts look like?
You and I, an older man, late 40s, jeans,
Wow.
plaid shirt.
Weird. So what did you do? Did you run upstairs screaming?
Well, I stayed away from the basement for a little while.
So I headed to the basement with ghost investigator Daryl Mitson, and then suddenly something gave me the chills. Oh my God, holy, oh my God! Daryl believes it was the energy of a ghost. Yeah, like my knuckles are swollen. I'm having a hard time.
Everyone gets it differently. We're both getting in our hands, they're tingling.
They feel tight.
Sensation, yeah.
Oh my God, I am, can I just tell you? I mean, I am not joking. I swear I'm not joking. but like it feels tight, and I feel like tightness. Am I? Oh my God! Feel my arm. It's like swollen. Oh my God. Versus this one, it feels different. I mean, there really is a difference between this part of my forearm and this one. Can you see the difference? Oh my God! Ah! That's so weird.
You're sensing what it is, whatever spirits are made out of. Your body's attuned to it. We think it has something to do with electricity, so we're picking up the same way we can see them, because the electrical impulses in your brain are actually seeing the vision.
Now, what do you do with that? I mean, how many like people out of 10 would